From the station putting local first, you're watching Studio 9.
Good evening and welcome to Studio 9. I'm your host, Patricia Maese. And this week we're featuring a special sit-down interview with American filmmaker Robert Rodriguez. He is the visionary behind some of the most innovative, creative, and visually inventive action films of the 90s and the 2000s. Robert Rodriguez is the epitome of the do-it-yourself director. He's known not only to direct, shoot, and edit nearly every one of his films. Rodriguez made a stop to kick off the El Paso Film Festival last month. We get a special sit-down interview with him led by our very own Felipa Solis.
It's a privilege to have with us the great director of our generation, Robert Rodriguez, here in El Paso for the El Paso Independent Film Festival, who's taking some time out to talk to us about just, I think we won't call it an industry, but we're going to call it a love of an art form that you've brought forth, and what pride it is as a Latina to see a Latino filmmaker make such an impact.
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. But yeah, I was surprised myself, believe me, coming from San Antonio and going to school in Austin. I knew I liked making movies, but I didn't think I could ever really be in the business because I hadn't seen anyone like myself get into the business, especially coming out of Texas. So it wasn't really a dream I had. I never really thought you could have that dream. So I was surprised myself when it happened.
When it happened, it was indeed your voice, and what you did for your first film for $7,000 was truly amazing in that you almost sacrificed yourself for your art.
That's actually the topic of this movie I just made with my kids. Red 11 is the movie we're taking around to festivals. We play here in El Paso and take it around the world. It was based on those medical research studies I did to pay for mariachi because it was such a wacky time period. I had several jobs. I was full-time school. I didn't have extra money to go put into a film, so I had to go sell my body to science in a way to make the funds, but it made you really bleed for your art and be more careful with how you spent it. So you had to make sure the story was good. You had to make sure you were very careful how you shot economically the movie. All that, I think, helped make the movie better, and I think that's why it went on to win Sundance and kind of go around the world. And it was also allowed me the freedom, though, to like cast Latinos in the leads, and that was just very new at the time. And follow it up with several movies that did the same thing. I think it inspired a lot of people who were felt like they're on the outside looking into an industry that they loved but didn't feel like they could be a part of, and then suddenly they felt like they could be a part of it.
That is an incredibly important point, that when they say there are no Latinos in films, or no parts for Latinos, but it takes a Latino to create it and make it happen.
Yeah, and I believe in that, empowering the person who's telling the stories, that we get more filmmakers. That's why I started a network called the Rehab Network to cultivate these talents behind the scenes of writers and directors, so that, because who's going to write those roles? You can't just, Hollywood doesn't have those roles. We have to make them ourselves. And so you need trained professionals who can write and push that agenda of casting and making sure that that happens, so that there's authentic viewpoints being shown.
And we talk about the future of filmmaking, and that's what you're really working towards with your master classes and workshops for the young filmmaker, but how wonderful it is for you to have the opportunity to work alongside your sons.
Yes, I was very surprised, because I worked with them before in movies, not where they were the full-time collaborators, and they were really young. And I remember, you know, like, the last thing you want to work sometimes with your own father, because it's like that job is the job he has, but you want to go do something else. Even though movie making you would think is fun, they've got their own dreams and their own projects. And one son was making knives, and the son was doing his own thing. So I brought them along knowing that they may say, okay, this isn't for me after just a few days. But I saw it really opened my eyes to what filmmaking really is. Filmmaking really is like life. I mean, and all art, I realized, is like life. How you are as an artist is how you are in life. If you're someone who sees the glass half empty or half full. That's who your life is. That's what your art is like. That's what your life is like. So you can actually change who you are as a person by the project you're working on, or be a better person by creating a story from scratch. And as you're making that story, you're also writing your own story as who you're going to be, as a father, as a collaborator, as a son. So bringing them onto the project, I really thought they would tune out after a few days. Instead, they were so infected by it. They were just like, I can't believe that that actor didn't show up, and this set didn't match what we wrote, and all that was falling apart. But the save that we did made it all work. And I realized, oh, I forgot what that felt like to realize what the creative process was in my youth. I really got to relive it through their eyes and see how they were really learning about life on doing this project. So I never would have pushed them to go into making a movie with me. They really embraced it, and it was only a 14-day shoot. I saw them turn into different people in 14 days. So I preach this now as the power of doing a project with your kids, because they see how you deal with life and how you deal with challenges and problems. It's much better than you just saying, well, this is what you should do. They see you in action, and they model themselves after you. And you learn so much from them. So now I told the little ones after that, I don't care if you're interested in film or not. You're working on the next movie.
You're doing it.
Even if you don't become filmmakers, you learn so much about life. Almost like the best place you can learn about life is on an art project. And one that has high stakes, and one that has real deadlines, and one that has a stress factor. Because that's what life is. And a lot of people in art think they're not ready to do their art. Well, you're not ready for life either. You're not ready for anything that's coming at you today, and you just have to roll with it. Well, that's who you should be as an artist. Why not the same? So they got to see all of that, and it taught me again in a new way. So it was a very profound experience, and we talk about that during the festivals. We show the film, but only after I do a whole class about it. So by the end, the audience is either ready to quit their job and make a film, or if they're not filmmakers, they want to go take on some big challenge that's their passion area, because it truly transforms you.
Stay with us. There's still more to come on Studio 9, including part 2 of our very special sit-down interview with Robert Rodriguez, where he talks about his El Paso connection.
The key to your new Tropicana home will open more than just a door. It will open a new chapter in your life for you and your loved ones. Awarded 2018's Real Texas Builder Volume Builder of the Year, Tropicana Homes provides move-in ready floor plans designed with the Tropicana Homes tradition of quality, building strong foundations to last generations in 9 communities throughout El Paso. Visit TropicanaHomes.com today.
We see fun in your future. Get ready for an experience that's literally beyond words. At the new Blue Man Group Speechless Tour. Let go and experience a new Blue.
2 performances only, November 19th and 20th at the Plaza Theater. Visit Ticketmaster.com today.
The 2019 Nissan Armada. Intelligence with an attitude.
Get a low $427 per month lease on the 2019 Armada.
Need cash? TitleMax offers 2 ways to get it. Get cash using your car title. Go to TitleMax.com, enter the car year, make, model. See how much you can get. TitleMax also offers personal loans. No title required. Check out TitleMax.com when you need more cash. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Get up to $2,500 with a personal loan or up to $10,000 using your car title. And you'll say, I got my title back with TitleMax.
Get a title back with TitleMax.
Studio 9, sponsored by Tropicana Homes, building homes in the El Paso area for more than 69 years. Tropicana has been recognized locally and across the state multiple times as the Best Builder of the Year and Best Developer of the Year. There are 9 Tropicana communities currently serving the El Paso area. Find out more about Tropicana on our website at ktsm.com and click on the Studio 9 tab.
Film always does, and your love of family also shows in your amazing sister, Patricia.
My sister, yes.
And she's a filmmaker as well, so the inspiration is everywhere.
Yes. Well, I have 5 sisters.
You have 5
amazing
sisters.
So whenever someone says, I met your sister, she's amazing, I'm like, which one? You talking about? The singer. Oh, there's 2 singers.
Well, there's 2 singers.
So which one is it? Does she have the castanet? Yeah, that's
the
Patricia.
castanets, yes.
So my sisters are fabled and well known for being really bright lights and really strong. That's why I had a lot of really strong female characters in my movies, because of my sisters and my mom who raised 10 kids. That was just
10
my
kids?
worldview. Yeah, 10 kids, 5 boys, 5 girls.
Latinos.
Yep. And that inspired the Spy Kids movies. You know, that was based on my family. So it was great to get to put that in the films and have that experience growing up in Texas.
Tell us about your El Paso connection. El Paso's not a stranger to you.
No, I haven't been here since I was probably maybe 11 or 12, but we used to come here often because my grandmother lived here because my mom was born and raised here. So I have a lot of family here in El Paso.
So coming here is just kind of...
It is strange to look around, and even though it's grown quite a bit, I still I remember it from my childhood, definitely. But yeah, my mom was from here, and one of my frequent collaborators, he's did a lot of the music in Desperado. He plays the snake dance song in Dusk Till Dawn. Tito La Riva is from El Paso. He's Tito and Tarantula and the Cruzados. We grew up listening to his music, and then I got to become friends with him. And he collaborated on some of my biggest music, as well as the theme to Machete. He's a well-known musician, and he's from El Paso. So those are my 2 El Paso connections, my mom and my friend Tito.
Robert Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate
this has just been an incredible pleasure.
Thank you.
And still to come on Studio 9, from aguas frescas to delicious Mexican food, we'll take you to the favorite local hotspot in Las Cruces that is soon expanding. Plus, just in time for the holiday season, we take you inside Mission Del Rey if you're looking for Southwest souvenirs and gifts. That's all coming up next.
The key to your new Tropicana home will open more than just a door. It will open a new chapter in your life for you and your loved ones. Awarded 2018's Real Texas Builder, Volume Builder of the Year, Tropicana Homes provides move-in ready floor plans designed with the Tropicana Homes tradition of quality, building strong foundations to last generations in 9 communities throughout El Paso. Visit tropicanahomes.com today.
Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. So now's the time to start getting treated like more than just a number. With Cigna Medicare Advantage, the affordable plan that treats you like a whole person, body and mind. Get the right plan for the right price. Call 1-866-626-9477. With Cigna, you get one plan for all your benefits, a team of doctors for your overall health, and healthy living programs to save you money. Plus, no monthly premium and no primary doctor copay. Don't miss your chance to get more coverage for less. Switch to Cigna today to get a complete plan that fits your budget. Don't wait. Call now to get your free Medicare Advantage guide. Call 1-866-626-9477. That's 1-866-626-9477. Or visit getcignamedicare.com. Cigna, together all the way.
Strong relationships are everything when it comes to running a successful family practice. And they're just as important when choosing your financial partner. That's why I chose United Bank. Since day one, they've cared about my business just like I care about my patients. From new equipment to expanding my office, my lenders go the extra mile, and my decisions are made locally and quickly. United Bank knows the importance of relationships because they care about local business.
Visit United Bank and come grow with us.
It's the darkest time of the year. Headlight savings time. The best time to take care of the pairs in your life by replacing your basic bulbs with a fresh pair of whiter, brighter, Sylvania bulbs. Because if a simple switch was all it took to protect your precious cargo, wouldn't you?
I love that one.
I love it.
I love it. It's easy to fall in love with a new Chevy.
I love this one too.
And this month is the perfect time to see why.
Wow. I love it.
That's my next truck. Find your reason to fall in love with a new Chevy and get a great deal all month long.
I love it.
I'm gonna go buy a Chevy.
Get a total value of over $11,500 on this Silverado Texas edition. Or during the Black Friday sales event, get 20% below MSRP on other select 2019 models. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Okay, we're in Las Cruces. I'm with the Mateo's twins. These ladies, Melody and Michelle Rios, are the owners of Mateo's Authentic Mexican Food. Delicious Mexican food. All right, Melody, thank you. And Michelle, thank you guys for being on the show. Tell me how Mateo's first started.
Well, originally, we started as a food truck. We started in March of last year. We decided it was time to open a restaurant when the demand was just so high. So we opened the storefront in January, and we've been a restaurant ever since January, and God willing, we're opening our second storefront pretty soon.
So when you say that the demand has been strong, it really has. People love your food. Tell me why.
Number one, freshness. Number two, it's real food, authentic food, and it's delicious.
Talk about those key signature items that people can find here, why everyone keeps walking through your door and they keep coming back.
Our number one top seller is the carne asada taco plate.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Extremely delicious. And then also our hatch green enchiladas are very popular, as well as our carne asada fries.
And then, and this is her twin sister. So both are owners along with her husband. This is a family-owned restaurant. But you guys also have aguas frescas. Tell me about that. I walked in and I'm like, oh my God, aguas frescas. People love those, especially in this area. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So our aguas frescas are definitely the staple of Las Cruces. We have aguas frescas are traditional, and also our superfood aguas frescas, which are matcha, charcoal, spirulina, which is just a boost of health benefits for the aguas frescas.
So people come in just for that.
Absolutely.
I was trying the cucumber and lime one. It is so good. It has a little bit of spiciness too.
Yes.
And you guys have won some awards. I mean, you've been in business for a short while, like you said, the demand, but also the accolades are there. You've gotten some recognitions. Tell me about that.
Yes. So God willing, this year we're trying to get that as well, but we won the Best of Las Cruces food truck and Best of Las Cruces restaurant, Mexican restaurant.
Tell me what goes through your mind when you see the success of the restaurant and the food that you're providing, and also the atmosphere that you created for people who come in, because it's very friendly. You feel the vibe. It's like you walk into your home and people are sitting down to eat with you. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. I feel like that's like the number one thing that sets us apart from all the other restaurants here in Las Cruces is, number one, it is Christian based, so everyone that walks in the door is received with a warm welcome, and as well as, you know, we treat everyone like family.
It feels like it. It certainly feels like it. And then you have the delicious food. So your first location here, the storefront, you have the food truck here by NMSU, and then your second location is going to go where?
In downtown Las Cruces.
Okay, so you definitely need to come check out Mateo's Authentic Mexican Food. So, so delicious. You're going to be seeing some of their signature items throughout the segment. And for more information and to check out their menu, head on over to our website, ktsm.com. And as always, click on the Studio 9 tab. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have to say, I love this store. I'm at Mission Del Rey Southwest. It's in East El Paso. You need to come check it out. I'm with the owner, Craig Chambers. What a fabulous store. I walked in here, I put on a hat. I mean, I started picking up stuff. Tell me about the store.
It's an awesome place to bring your friends and family. We have a huge selection, low warehouse prices. You're going to find Southwestern, Western, Native American, all kinds of cool Southwest decor, apparel, purses, shawls, all that great stuff.
And of course, it's that Southwest flavor unique to the area. El Paso Saddle Blanket closed, and a lot of people were disappointed, but you carry all their stuff, plus other cool things.
We've been friends for years.
Yes.
We still feature all of the El Paso Saddle Blanket products. You can find them all here, plus thousands more. It's just a great place to shop. A lot of fun.
It's a great place to shop if you need gifts, especially for family and friends that are from out of town and they're looking for something El Paso, but even stuff for yourself or the house to decorate. Texas theme, Mexico theme, Southwest, everything.
We have pottery and pillows, hand-woven rugs, all kinds of unique stuff, made real things by real people is what we like to say.
And then you have like those gifts like prickly pear maple syrup, you have jalapeno stuff, you have the sarapes, the hats that you could buy at the Mercado in Juarez.
Everything.
But if you don't want to cross, you can find it here.
A lot of people actually come and say, we wanted some Mexico products, but we didn't want to have to go across the border. Well, you can find that here too.
And your prices are super friendly. So tell me what you cater to or your concept behind the store.
Well, the idea is we want to have a place where people can bring their friends and family when they come to town. We want them to have fun. We're trying to create that kind of environment where they like it. They can bring their kids. They can find cool stuff, unique stuff. We have things from $1 to several $1,000s. So everybody's going to find something.
Turquoise jewelry, silver jewelry, everything. Like I walked in here and I got lost. I'm like, oh wait, I have to work. It's so awesome. Come check it out just in time for the holiday shopping. Mission Del Rey Southwest in East El Paso, but you can come from any side of town. People come from all over the place.
Come from all over the country.
And of course, we're going to have a link to find them on our website. Head on over to ktsm.com and click on the Studio 9 tab. Thanks so much, Craig. We're going to get to shopping. Yeah, I'm not done yet. We're done with the segment. Let's go shopping.
Okay, let's go.
Still more to come on Studio 9. We take you inside Valeo Rehab and show you how their therapy services are helping kids lead healthier lives.
The key to your new Tropicana home will open more than just a door. It will open a new chapter in your life for you and your loved ones. Awarded 2018's Real Texas Builder, Volume Builder of the Year, Tropicana Homes provides move-in ready floor plans designed with the Tropicana Homes tradition of quality, building strong foundations to last generations in 9 communities throughout El Paso. Visit TropicanaHomes.com today.
Welcome to the Edge of Texas. At the Edge of Texas, our steaks are delicately cut. You have to love the outcome of the food. For me, my heart is in it, and I'd like to share it with everyone. We have great margaritas. They are part of the Edge of Texas. The Edge of Texas, to me, is my home. You want a home-cooked meal? You want great service? Come to the Edge of Texas. We'll take great care of you.
Where is that list? Oh, here. Whoa, I better get started. Chloe, of course, needs to look glamorous for all those holiday parties. And Beth wants some statement shoes. Cookware. Jack, does he know that requires entering the kitchen? Ooh la la. With these brands at these prices, I can totally afford to treat myself. The outlet shops at El Paso. You do this Black Friday thing right.
Deal Talk. My new $4.99 BLT cheeseburger combo comes with 100% beef and hickory smoked bacon, plus fries and a drink, all for just the change in your couch.
I found the remote!
Try my new $4.99 BLT cheeseburger combo.
Hi, I'm Claudia LeBeau, and I'm with Sabella's Air Conditioning Appliance. Now I want to let you know that picking a contractor doesn't have to be stressful. At Sabella's, we strive to offer an on-time, same-day service with experienced, clean, and polite technicians. All our services are backed by a 5-year warranty. And right now, we're offering 60 months, no interest for all our new air conditioners. Stop going through these hot summers with your old swamp cooler. Switch now and save and enjoy a cool system designed specifically for you. Call us today and find out why we're different from the rest.
Dinosaurs come alive! The largest, most realistic, with over 50 moving, breathing dinosaurs. Fun and activities for the whole family. This Saturday and Sunday, El Paso County Coliseum. Online at JurassicTour.com.
Strong, determined, driven, you open your doors to our community and are part of elevating all of our lives. You don't let anything get in your way because you have a fire inside that pushes you forward. You build, make, bake, create, and support those that rely on you. You are a business owner, and we're here to support you. GECU is open for businesses.
Okay, let's talk healthcare options and total rehab when it comes to outpatient services. I'm here with Bianca Sanchez. She is the owner of Valeo Rehab. Tell me a little bit about the services that you offer.
So we're offering speech, occupational physical therapy. We also have a registered dietitian on staff. So we're providing like a total care for the child or the adult.
Tell me how you work with your patients and really understanding that therapy is another component to healthcare and transitioning people from whether they're recovering from an injury or maybe something they were born with and transitioning them to a normal life.
So they come in, we do extensive testing, and then we decide what they're qualifying for and why they're qualifying for. So we're trying to find out the etiology of what's happening, and then we can do a plan of care that best fits what's happening, what they need.
So we're dealing with kids right now. Let's start talking about kids, and we're in your clinic right now. Kids comes in and maybe they're not speaking when they should be, or they're not developing at a normal rate. Of course, pediatricians keep track of that. Talk about when your therapists step in to really bring that child to par when they go to school, so they don't feel like they're being held back.
Right. So some of these kids are getting services in the schools, but that's mostly group therapy. So when they come here, they're getting individualized one-on-one, anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. Some kids come in almost 3 hours. And so we're targeting the goals that, for whatever reason, they're not at their peer level. And we just target the goals: language, articulation, could be disfluencies, reading. And so we're getting them caught up so that when they get in school, they feel confident, they're doing well, and they're managing at the level of their peers.
And they're able to learn along with the rest of the kids in class.
And that's one of the things, is finding how does this patient learn best. So it's not always the same way for each child.
Right.
So we have to kind of trial and error, find out what works best for them, and then implement it, and then also implement it with their families. So a lot of family education.
It becomes very individualized. Tell me how you work with physicians, the physicians here in the area who then refer a patient to you who says, I think they would really benefit from services, especially children.
Right. So we're in the Northeast. So we were out here, in a couple years. We don't have a lot of pediatricians here, so we met with them one-on-one, discussed with them what we were trying to do, letting them know we have the registered dietitian, and then they're sending us information like their physicals, what things they see. They're talking to the parents. Parents might be saying, they're not getting good grades at school. They're shy. They don't socialize. They might have behavioral issues. And so then we're letting the doctors know when to send them to us. So they send them to us. We evaluate. They don't always qualify. But if they do, we send that information back to the doctor so they can do a clear assessment and decide whether therapy is appropriate.
And talk about the changes that you see when you see a kid walk into your doors and maybe they're having behavioral issues, but it all stems from learning or something that maybe it's going on in the home, and you guys step in and are able to diagnose and really work with them to have that change in their life, and so they have a better quality of life.
Right, and so that's our approach. It's like a total body, total care approach. Because if the child comes in, it's not always, oh, they just don't know, or they just don't learn, or they don't listen. There might be some underlying issues, and so that's kind of what we look for. If we see that there's maybe a behavioral or some kind of other issue, if we cannot deal with it here, then we're letting the doctor know this child needs another service. So that way, they're being cared for in all aspects, and then improvement excels, and we get them back to where they need to be, or get them up to where they need to be.
And it's almost a team approach. You have a team of therapists working with you. And of course, if you want more information on Valeo Rehab, or if you think that your child may need some rehab services or therapy services, we're going to have a link to their website on our website. Head on over to ktsm.com, and as always, click on the Studio 9 tab. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Well, that's it for Studio 9 this week. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Patricia Maesa. My crew and I will be back next week, as always, with a very special holiday show. Stay with us. We'll see you next week. As always, stay El Paso strong and have a safe weekend.